What's up, everybody? My name is Randy for the Survivor Now podcast, and I am joined by my great friend, the man who has been here since the beginning, Abraham, and welcome to After the Game, the show where we do a deep dive into the lives of past Survivor castaways, see what's been going on since their time on the show, and also take a look back at their time on the show as well. And today we have an incredible guest for all of you. He is pretty much, I don't know how they technically do it, but I'm just going to say he is the runner-up for Survivor Australia, Heroes versus Villains. We are joined by Gerry Geltch. Did I say your last name right? Because I always butcher last names.
No, Geltch, that is correct. And hello, guys, and thank you very much for having me on. I feel so privileged.
Oh my gosh, we have been waiting to have you on. I know you've always been a fan of ours. We've been a huge fan of you, man, watching the show. I can't tell you how many times Abraham and myself would always be like, Gerry is out there kicking butt and taking names right now. Like it was.
That's it. Yeah.
Let me just tell you, Gerry, I owe you an apology of sorts. I own up to when I am wrong. And a lot of times, especially with older castaways going on the show, I will have them being one of the first ones out just because there is that age gap. And we'll get into that a little later on. Yeah, Abraham was supporting you from the get-go, but I was
I know, I was watching.
So I have to apologize to you because you outright proved me wrong, man.
Mate, apologies not needed. Everybody has their own take coming onto the show, and even here in Australia, when it came up before Christmas, the marketing started, and a lot of the younger generation, and so be it, had me at first boot, so that's fine.
It's gotta feel great to, like, I hate to say stick it to them, but just prove them wrong. Be like, yeah, I can do this. So I mean, I have to ask, and this is, if you're new to watching After the Game, we always love to ask the castaways more about their lives as well, because they aren't just characters for us to watch on TV. They're actual people, and we have to remember that. So, Gerry, I'm interested, since the show has aired, which it was pretty much a month and a half ago or something like that. Sorry, probably 2 months ago now, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Is it that long? End of March?
Yeah, end of March. Yeah, I was thinking when it premiered, end of January. So yeah, probably about roughly half a month, something like that. But since it's aired, what has been the reception basically from the public? Have people been walking up to you in the streets? What's been going on since the show aired?
Well, I've been on Fraser Island. I get 100 photos taken on me every day for the last 34 years. And Fraser Island, Fraser Coast, Harvey Bay, Sunshine Coast, I'm fairly well known anyway. So what it's done is just the geographical area has just broadened. And I am recognised and loved by most.
That's good to hear.
Wherever I go, and it's wonderful. I love it. I see people that they recognise me, and their eyes, and their face brightens up, and they want to say something, but they don't want to harass you. And I call them over and have a chat to them and all that, because hey, it's I want them to know me, and I'm interested in people as well. So I love talking to them. So everywhere I go, even out in the surf, they recognise me out when I'm out surfing and all sorts of things. Now, online, actually since, say, Christmas, before the show started to air, I had because I'm the old bloke, first boot, la la la, and so that's fine. I've had negative situations most of my life anyway, so I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable with it.
The behind the computer folks. They're behind the computer. Now,
look, everybody has a right to their own opinion there. And I copped a bit of flack through the course of the show. And but of course, an hour in the show is 48 hours in the game, and nobody sees everything. So that's fine. But out of that, mainly Australian audience was negative, and even when with the girls, I had to bring that up with the girls halfway through the game, and I was noted as being sexist and a woman hater and all that. But everybody that knows, that I'm a gentleman at heart.
Look,
So,
I saw you when the young lady came at the end. You're not a woman hater. You're a lover. I saw it. When she came out and y'all had the last challenge. You were out there on the one. You were on the water. You were standing up. No.
Oh, when Pam came out, yeah.
That should have answered everybody's questions right there.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But I will say, the response from the States with you guys in Canada, Europe. Oh, I don't know what I've done for you guys to love me so much. Thank you. I'll take it.
I mean this before Abraham gets to his first question. I just have to add on here. I mean this in the nicest way, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think you were like a grandfather figure for all of us. I think it's just that connection that we had to you, and we wanted to see you do well because no matter how you look at it on the show, yes, you teamed up with George, and we'll get to all of that as well, naturally. And you kind of went from a hero to a villain, the dark side turned in a way. But we still felt like you were genuine Gerry. We still felt that the entire time.
Well, I tried to play the game as I lived my life, as honest and as possible, and with integrity. And I feel that I did that. But, you want to cross me, I'll bloody burn you. That's
it was that fire, man. It was
we're only human. Like you can't take it on the chin all the time, can you?
You played such a masterful game of playing your game, and it looks like you thoroughly enjoyed yourself. I know there's times when we're out there on those islands and we're doing this game here where you took an injury early on, and you were concerned that, will this injury take me out the game? Or will I still continue to play, before you even got the tribe swap or anything like that?
Yeah, well, it's as you know, a lot of it you didn't see, but after I came back from the villains, as you know, I went on that revenge rampage, and especially for just a little bit, and especially what they. When I did get back, and I only went back for Shani, as you all know, and that's true to God. And what they did to Shani that night was unforgivable. 9 times out of 10, I'll forgive and I'll move on. But once you've crossed that line, man, you're gone. And I'm like that in real life as well. So. First of all, and we went back, that happened. Then luckily, very quickly after that, in the next few days, we had we dropped the buffs and had the tribe swap, and mate, everything went my way. We had George, we had Stevie, we had Shani, and I made alliances with them while I was over there, and a very, very thick alliance. And George and I had a few conversations, and I had it planted in my head, and George did too, at a certain extent too, that if we can team up, we're teaming up together, and we're fighting our way to the end. And getting back to that, when they tribe swap, I said to George, right, first of all, we've got young Paige, she's gone first, and then we get rid of Benjamin. That's it. They're gone. And
we don't go down that hit list one by one. I do have to add, if you guys have anything to add into the comments for Gerry, let us know. We'll try to answer that. But my brother, I told him to check it out. He doesn't watch Survivor, unfortunately, but he said, "Hey, everyone." But Gerry, I love that hit list. You put it like perfectly. It was just amazing watching you all season kind of be like, check. And I want to know, so when you got sent over to the villains camp, we saw you were like the hottest free agent at that camp. Like everyone wanted you as a number. No one even thought that you would be going back over to the Heroes. And we saw Simon, based off the edit, we saw Simon going after you, George going after you. I want to know what led you to go with George rather than Simon. How was his case better than Simon's?
Okay. First of all, it was very refreshing to be loved by all.
I imagine, yeah.
Not by just two. Yeah. And but yeah, I went over there, and when I turned, it must have been 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock. I don't know, but it was late. And they just sent me in the village tribe in the dark. I couldn't see a bloody thing, you know. And I seen the fire burning a little bit, and actually young Sarah was asleep by the fire, and she was almost rolling in the fire. So I just woke her and just said, "Here, just don't fall in the fire." And I knew that I'd shock her because who's this bloke? And
I'm shocked you didn't get punched by someone walking in the middle of the night.
Well, what I did was when I got in there, because I'm stumbling and falling over because I couldn't see anything, and so I seen that a few of the embers in the fire. So I fumbled around, found a bit of wood, threw it on the fire, and got a bit of a flame so I could see what I was doing. And then I woke Sarah, and she was away from everybody else, and just so she wouldn't roll into the fire with the shock. And then everybody started to stirring around, and I actually said to her, I said, "Oh, who's the boss here?" And she goes, "Oh, Simon, and he's over there." So I went and gently woke Simon up. And then it went from there. But that night I slept beside Simon, and I was listening to him because he was the chief there of the tribe. So so they thought. And so I was talking to him, and George got up and ranting and raving about who's this old bloody codger and all that sort of stuff. And I do love that name, actually, the old codger. I'm happy with that. And so I thought, oh gee, and George doesn't like me over here, and he's a bit of an angry fella. And Simon was nice, so I thought, yeah, okay, I'll just hang with Simon a bit. But the next day, I actually looked at the demographics of the two splinter groups. There was George and the girls, and there was Simon and the people over his side, and you had sort of like Geordie in the middle. And I think, oh, and I just watched and I'm really good at reading character, and I thought Simon's a bit too erratic for me. I'm going to go and have a couple of words to George, and so I did that. And Simon's reaction to that was I was on the mark, and I thought, nah, I've been in business for a long time. I know how to pick people, and I know how to work with people. And George is off tap as he is. I'm going with George. And I watched season 6. I actually smashed out 220 hours of Survivor 2.5 weeks before I went to Samoa because I'd never seen Survivor before. And
wow.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions today is how I was going to get to it later, but how did this Survivor journey get started for you? That's crazy. You had never seen it.
No. Because I'm not a TV man, and I'm outdoorsy and do all that sort of thing. And they actually contacted me about 9 weeks prior to the game and asked would I like to go on the Survivor. And they actually sent an email first. And Pam's on the computer and said, this email has come through from this funny name company and they say something about you want to go on Survivor. And I said, oh, don't worry about it. It's a bloody hoax. 3 minutes later, they backed it up with a phone call going, you haven't replied to our email yet. Oh, okay. All right. So, and because of my life on Fraser Island, the things that I've done, the life experiences I've had, good and bad, over there, like with plane crashes, saving people, and my life in general, death of my son, all that sort of stuff. And they thought, wow, we've actually got a real life hero, which I reluctantly like to be called a hero. I don't, because I feel that I'm not. But gave them somebody with a bit of meat to come into the game. So yeah, we to and froed, and I said, what do you want with an old bugger like me? Yeah, geez. And they said, no, we want you. And so they sent us season 5, the All Stars, and I started watching it, and of course Lee Castledine is in there, and Lee and I have done a bit of work together, and we're mates, and I thought, oh, okay. So I got into that, and I watched it, and I enjoyed it, and then everything went off the boil for a few weeks, and Pam said to me, "You better start watching all these other Survivors that I've downloaded for you." And I said, "No, they've got somebody better. Don't worry about it. You know, it's a moving moment." About 3 weeks before the game, they contacted us again and said, "Right, quick, go and get medicals, go and do health check, go and do this, go and do that, and all that sort of stuff. You're up to the next stage." And then, "Well, really?" I said, "All right, okay." I said, "You better give me a bit of time to get my business sorted so I can walk away." And so I started, and 2.5 weeks prior, I watched the whole 7 series, and then I went back and I watched key things I thought were important. 220 hours, all right. I didn't do anything else. Yeah, my son says, "Dad, you going to come back to work or what?" No.
That's a workout on the eyes right there, like keeping your eyes open, just watching like all the episodes.
Oh, I'd wake Pam up at 1. I'd wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so boom, on. I got my iPad in front of me in bed, and so that's how I smashed it out. And I learned a lot, and I became a fan.
Oh, nice.
And so that's where I first, unbeknown to George, that's where I first met George in season 6, and I oh my God, look at this guy, you know, and I just couldn't get my head around him at all. And when I got to Samoa, and we were locked in a room at the airport, and we're all covered up and couldn't see. And next, you know, George starts walking around, and because we knew that there was going to be 12 returnees and 12 newbies, and then I looked up and I seen George, and I thought, "Oh no!" but mate, within an hour of meeting him and talking to him, it's just a brilliant man, and you know, this friendship blossomed. Although, you know, we were working together. Okay, the young people, if they want to call it, you know, using each other, or George was using me and I was a pawn, whatever. But we worked together. We enjoyed working together, and we did it successfully. Yeah. So, but anyway, getting back to it, that's why I went to George. Yeah.
So here's an interesting. So this is a very unique season for me to watch. I met George in December, and who I saw play the game of Survivor wasn't the same person that was my roommate. And I was like, wait a minute, because I met him. He came up to me because he had checked in the room, but I wasn't in the room. And he came up to me and said, "Hey, my name is George." And I looked at him. I was like, okay. I never knew. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he played on Survivor in Australia when I met him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we start to see the promos for everybody for Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, he plays on Survivor. Never went back and saw his season, how he played. Now, you binge watched all of Survivor to include George's season. There's 2 sides to George. The guy you meet in public, and the villain that you meet that's actually a villain.
Yeah.
But in your relationship to him on the island, for the parts that we didn't see, that the camera it dropped on the edit room floor, what was a great time, a great moment you and George had that didn't make the screen that would have been just a great example of your friendship?
Oh, there's heaps. Sometimes at night, George would be, because he just ultra thinks out everything, and sometimes at night he'd wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Quick, Gerry, come out of here. We're in trouble. and because you know, they made him out on TV, and so they should, to be this super positive guy that can go through and knows the game inside out and back front. And he goes, "Oh, you know, Haley's done this to us. You know, Johnny's done this to us. What are we going to do?" And I'm worried, it might be the end of our own. And we'd been in that situation quite a few times. George, don't worry about it. We've been here before. Let's just go back to bed, wake up tomorrow morning. We know what's going on. You and I have got our heads together. We know what the end result tonight has to be for us. And that's what we're going to work towards. But what about if it doesn't happen? Well, we go home.
Gerry, you are a much stronger man than I am, because let me just tell you right now, maybe this is what would get me voted off, but if someone's waking me up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I would lose my mind. I would be like, why do we have to talk about this right now? We do have a question that I'll ask. Jimmy K says, Gerry, will you be going to Sneaky Steve's camp next month? If you are, I can't wait to meet you.
Yes. And actually, like Pam and I will be down there. And our little camper van, we've got a little Nissan camper van, and Pam wants to name it the Old Codgers. So we'll be bringing the camper van down. Yeah.
Abraham, we need to book our trips to Australia like now. Like
I've been to Australia a couple of times. I've been to Cairns. Is it Cairns or Cairns?
Sorry?
I've been to Cairns. Is it called Cairns or Cairns?
Yeah, Cairns. Cairns is up north. Yeah.
So I've been there a couple of times. Now,
right
here is one of the things that people don't get to see. After the season's over and we all start to return back to our lives, you're a part of something we like to call a survivor family.
Mm.
And it's a group of people that will always be a part of your lives. And we've seen some of it play out on social media in the weddings, and just getting the chance to see you in your settings. What's the best place we can find you today? If I came to Australia with Randy right now, where can we find you at?
Where would you find me?
Yeah.
Fraser Island. Fraser Island in the Sunshine Coast.
Woo, that you should have known that, Abraham. Let me just, it's something that I want to know, being someone who hasn't been out on the island. I haven't had that opportunity to go out and play there yet. Being someone who has never seen the show. I've seen it, but saying you haven't seen the show before you went out there and competed. What was the hardest aspect? You said that you're a very outdoorsy guy, but what was the hardest aspect about being out there in Samoa, dealing with the elements on a daily basis for you?
This is a two-pronged situation. The elements in Samoa, the rain, and it's cold. Right, and the rain is relentless, and it just rained and rained and rained and rained, and so that was very challenging. And for that first week, 2 weeks, and because Shani and I befriended each other, and we're very, very close still. Shani's got her own bedroom upstairs here at our place. She'd just come at night time and hold me, and because I'd be shivering and shaking, and because I'd be so cold, and we'd just fall asleep and just our arms around each other, just laying there. And one stage there, I was that cold and horrible and wet, and Shani just come and laid on top of me, and just to keep a bit of warmth in me. It was fantastic, unbelievable. So that, as far as elements concerned, that was the biggest thing that rocked me, because you couldn't get away from it. Not until after, when I was away, the guys won that challenge where they got the tarp to go over the roof, and but everything else is my bag. Beautiful beaches, reefs, tropical surroundings, living like a caveman. I love that. And so that's my bag. That's what I enjoy. So I was at home there. The second part of it, which was the first part of it, when we went there and they took everything off us, and you got no identity, you got no passport, you got no wallet, you got no money, you got no phone, no iPads, no radio, no TV, no nothing, and you're locked in a room. And that was challenging for me, not because I didn't have technology, even though I've been with it for years and years and years. It's not that I couldn't see what was going on at home with my business or my family and all that sort of, because I knew that they'd be there. But I was that reliant at my age on technology. Like if I don't know anything, I just Google it. I'm on Google 24/7. And like, so I'm starting to try to retrain my mind. And this is why we're locked up. And I'm going, okay, my old pilots, what are their names? I couldn't bloody think of them. My memory was just going and going and going. And I've had a few Harleys over the years, and no, can't remember what they were. I can picture them, can't tell you what they are. And just things like that. And another, like on a personal level, that it's when something happens in our lives, like with Pam and I, and if we're not together, if she's away working or with the kids, or you just text each other or you call each other. Oh, guess what? So if I looked out the window and I seen an exotic bird or whatever, where's my phone so I could tell Pam?
Oh.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So I think they were the two main things that I noticed that the rain rocked me, and the technology and my lower brain capacity of retention of knowledge. Yeah.
Now, Gerry, this is unique. Apparently, we weren't aware of this. In Australian Survivor, they film all three as a winner, and you don't find out who the actual winner is until finale night, which I think is a great, because it just kind of keeps that mystery to the game.
Yep.
Now, when that happened, and here's the thing about it is, people don't realize you have to relive Survivor when you go through the game. I'm sorry, you relive Survivor when it airs, because now everybody sees every move you made, everybody has every opinion about it, but you only see it from the first perspective, which is the tribe that you're on. You never see the other tribe until it airs, and then you get to see what everybody said about you.
Yeah.
Now, when that came about and you looked at the jury, who did you think was going to vote for you? Who did you already say, you know what, I got their vote?
Besides George, nobody.
Was that hard in that instance to kind of look at it like that, heading into the finale?
I knew it at merge, and that there was a huge disconnect, and I think that's where my social game probably fell down. I was more or less branded and a very unsocial person, and to the people that I didn't want around me, I am.
They basically said you were like every other person in the world,
like the Georges and the Shanies and Maddies and Haleys and things like that. We all got on super and loved. We loved each other and very, very social. So, but the other people and the hierarchy, the five, the three guys and the two girls, Haley and Flick. It's what they did to me. Pre-tribe tribe swap. It's and when I come back, to me that was unforgivable. And I was on a journey to get rid of each and every one of them, and mate, there was no holding back.
Now, come try to
talk to me, go away.
You have nothing to say to them.
Look,
there's nothing.
One of the younger players.
Well. Yeah, and once I went with George, and then we had to merge, and then Simon was over. Simon was going home. I had nothing to say to Simon. We
heard what you said to him.
That was it. But in saying that, like outside the game and after the game, where we've done a few watch parties and things like that, and Simon's he's a bloody good young fella, and that's great to get that connection. But within the game, that was part of my game, and that was it. And I told my family before I left, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but for my own self-worth, I need to somehow get to the end of this game. I don't fully understand it yet. But for me, personally, I have to do it. And gentlemen, I did it.
You did.
Now, in some of the challenges, you outlasted them old people. You outlasted a lot of the old people as one of the younger players.
Yeah. Like, at my age and all those young professional sports people and Olympians and things like that, half my age and less.
They were dropping like flies.
Well, Abraham, you know what they say, no brain, no pain, eh?
I have never heard that, so I don't know how to take that now. I feel pain all the time, but I definitely don't think I have that big of a brain.
The pain.
But I will say, the second day in, I did my back in, and I was in a lot of pain through the whole season, through the whole 46 days, digging rocks out so people could sleep. And I come back and the MRI showed that I had 2 bulging discs in my back, and that's why you never see me sitting down on logs and things like that. I was either sitting in that canvas chair or laying down or standing up.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Time out real quick, because I was going to ask about that chair. You mentioned it earlier, how it was kind of home for you out there because, you like the wilderness.
Oh, they brought it.
I had to throw out this chair somehow, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, Gerry, and I didn't mean to interrupt your point. That chair, I told it to Abraham and Tegwith, who covers the show with me. I'm like, that is Gerry's chair. Because George brought it to you when you were in that kind of playpen with Nina. How did that? And I always said you would sit down and Sharni would be right by your side. You had that was your chair. How did that happen? You just always sat in it, and they're like, you know what? Let's let Gerry have his thing.
Well, when I came back from the Villains, and the guys had won that challenge where they got the chairs and the tarp and a couple of pillows and a doona, and the photos of their loved ones from home, which I didn't get, and I'm still dirty on them about that.
He still has a hit list to this day.
That helped destroy them. But they sat me down the chair, and when Shani and I sat there, and I told them all what sort of naughty little boys and girls they were. In no uncertain terms, you didn't see the whole thing. And from that moment, and because my back was cactus, mate, my pain, the pain was incredible. So I always managed to get a chair, but I would always offer it to the ladies first, probably until after merge, and then I thought, nah, it's my chair. And I did share it. I shared it around, as you would have seen, like right to the end. And because, it's not exclusively mine. But what was exclusively mine after the merge, I had a spot on the doona, and I had a pillow, and nobody was touching it. That's mine. And that's it. And here I am, 64 years old. I've lost 9 bloody kilos, and sleeping on that dirt, and your bones is just digging into the ground, and the pain is incredible. But in saying that, I think the third challenge in, I broke a bit of bone off the of a metatarsal, and ended up in hospital a bit, but that's all right. And then a couple of days before Flick went, I kicked my toe. And I knew I broke it because I'd broken a fair few bones, but I didn't say too much about it because I didn't want to be thrown off the game. See, so I just kept it quiet, and got home. Yeah.
Oh,
Abraham. Second toe snapped in 2 places. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, sorry about that. I was just gonna say, Abraham, you didn't get to hear this story before we went live, but everything he's got, well, some of the stuff he's got back there, he stole from the game. Not stole. He just, I said he just claimed it. You should have claimed that chair, Gerry. You should have put your name in the back, dragged it to tribal council, and said, "This is going home with me."
Don't worry about Gerry. I was gonna take the Ponderosa. They had like a Ponderosa sign.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I should roll it up and put it in my bag.
Well, mate, look, as far as I'm concerned, behind me here is a rite of passage.
Oh,
Bottom line. I didn't come home with the bacon. I didn't come home with the 500,000. I knew I wouldn't. I didn't win a car and I didn't win 60,000. So, man, I'm taking it. So, here.
he took silence. He took. My question is, how
That's
did
the
you even
calendar.
get that?
I cut that out of the shelter. So,
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Days and I've got all sorts of things. I've got the machete sitting over there, and I've got my eating stick.
How'd you get the machete? Oh, because y'all were live. So y'all were just
like people
moving.
say, and actually the smaller knife. I said to Maddie, I said, mate, take it. Oh, I'm not quite sure. Take the bloody thing. I said, just take it. Tell them in customs what where you've been and what you're doing. They'll let you through. And so he got that on home as well. But and people are saying, you're never going to get this through customs. I said, you watch me.
I'm like, I always try to stay like super professional in these interviews because, I don't want to unleash the fan, but I'm just over here like, oh my gosh, like the fan in me is going crazy at the moment. I want to loop back here to that final tribal council. And I'm not trying to, I'm interested to see how you answer this. I'm not trying to turn it in a negative way whatsoever. But I thought they were super tough on you at that final tribal council, asking you stuff about, do you know my hobbies? Do you know this about me?
Yes.
I never like questions like that. And I love Sean and I love Sam. I got the chance to speak with both of them. I just never and obviously it's the heat of the moment. I just never like questions like that because you're putting someone on the spot. And I feel like with my memory, I wouldn't even be able to remember a lot of stuff if you start quizzing me on your life. I'm going to be like, I haven't eaten in days. I don't know. But do you feel like at that final tribal council, Gerry, that they were a little harsh on you looking back at it?
I knew in my mind they were going to crucify me. And that's fine. I knew I wasn't going to take home the bacon. I wasn't going to take home the 500. I knew they weren't going to vote for me. So, fine, shoot away. I don't care what you ask me, and I'll answer it correctly. And you're probably not going to want to hear it, but I'll answer it. and like they're all down on me because I don't know. I'm an old man. I don't know. I'm probably delusional, but I just don't think that they could get their head around that there's this dottery old man could come in, broken himself, and last to the end, and went on a rampage and got rid of them all. And I don't think, and it's only my 5 or 6 or whatever, and everybody else was a joint decision, and mainly George's decision, like Haley and those. But I just don't think that they could let it go.
That's how I saw it. Yeah.
You went there because of me. And if I was smart enough and I knew the game enough, you would have bloody gone before jury. but I wasn't, and I was filled, mate. I was filled with revenge. It's it, because it was disgraceful. I thought, and so that was it. But to a point when we were talking in the beginning, and we're all getting to know each other, and going back to Flick's question, which you didn't make the edit, and
I don't think it did. Yeah,
and she thought she had me, and she goes, "Oh, Gerry, you say all us younger people have taught you something, and la 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 la," and in that tone of voice, and she goes, "So what have I taught you?" Because we had a bit of a misgiving, and prior. And she was shocked because because we're talking and because of my life experiences and things like that. And I've done a fair bit of public speaking over the years. And we're just talking about ways where I can make money later on when the authorities take my commercial pilot's license medical off me in the next couple of years. I've got to keep making money. And she'd said that, you'd make a really good public speaker with your background. And I said it to her. I said, wait, you've shown me, you give me the confidence that I can actually go out public speaking and make an income out of it, and I just shot it down, and then she, oh God, and then the Simon one didn't come on. You didn't get to see that, and then the Sean one about his kids, and with Sean, and see, I'm an open book because in my business, I'm a bit of a showman, and I'm out there, and people want to know about me, and I have to talk, and I have to sell flights on buses. That's our bread and butter. So I do that, and people ask about me, and I have all this wonderful life experience, which I rattle off, and they get enjoyment out of it, and that's what they learn about 15% of my life, but they reckon that they knew all my life. And where's Sean? And professional people in such a public eye, like those guys, and Sean and David, like with their careers, and that have fans and people chasing them everywhere, and Sean with a lovely wife who's a global sensation supermodel, and I would listen, and people would ask questions, and I thought, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to intrude because they must get it all the time, and surely they get sick of it, and so I'm not one to go, oh, what does this do? And his kids are private. My kids are private. You know what I mean? It's so I didn't want to indulge. I left the gate open. If people wanted to talk to me, hey, the gate's open. Come and sit down and let's have a chat. Talk to me. Tell me about yourself. But I didn't go fishing for it, and that was used against me. Let's say, and that's why I never asked about his kids. I never asked about his wife. We spoke about his restaurant, and we spoke about food and what they produce at the restaurant, the wines and all that sort of thing. And because it's that's just a public environment, not a private environment. And the reason why I didn't go for his kids or his wife or anything like that, it's bloody private, mate. It's, if you want to talk to me about it, sure. But anyway, it got turned on me. Bottom line.
But you know what? The game is called Outwit, Outplay, Outlast, and you outlasted a lot of people to get to that seat. Now, did you take a moment when you knew, okay, guaranteed, I'm the last of the three, to say, you know what, I made it here? How was that moment when you was like, the challenge was over, you knew who was going to tribal, no matter who won the game? How did you feel?
I felt really good, relieved, a sense of accomplishment. The money didn't matter anymore, although we really needed it, and we could have done with the money to help prop up our business, because it's still suffering really bad after COVID.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. A lot of people have gone broke, and have had to walk away. A lot of people aren't with us anymore because of the pressures of COVID and all that sort of stuff. And I am, and I've still got a beautiful family and friends, and there's a light many years down the track. Oh, a good lotto win, wouldn't it? but yeah, it's a sense of achievement. And I don't know whether you guys have come across it or not, but there's, I think Survivor AU or something put up my final confession.
Oh, your final comments. I don't think I've seen it yet. I need to look.
Yeah. And and that tells my whole story through the part of the game. And I really, really, really thanked them and enjoyed it. And I love the way that they portrayed me and they put me together there at the end. And I'm going to use that everywhere and anywhere I go, because it's just my game down to a T and exactly how I feel. So yeah, I was amazed at myself. A sense of achievement, which I haven't felt for many, 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 many years, and I was happy to get to the end, and I was happy that night that I'd already seen Pam, and I was going back to a resort room where she was.
What was the first thing you ordered, Gerry? Very first thing you ordered?
Oh, yeah, this I can't believe these young kids, because during the course of the game, and you didn't see it, but I always because I'm the old guy. I'm supposed to be booted out. Okay, so how do I combat this? So
I'll never live that down.
I just let, like when we cook the rice and beans. Here, guys, you eat first. I'll eat last. I'll have whatever's left. And I did that all the way through the game, and and I didn't eat much at all. I just kept my meals down to a minimum, which I knew. I know my body, and I know what I need to sustain, or sustainability, and let everybody else pig out and do whatever they do. And and I wasn't hungry through the whole game. I didn't feel hunger through the whole game, and I was right. I'd like a few different taste sensations, but not yeah. So to answer your question, when we got out, we were in the bus going to the resort, and okay, order up what you want, and they gave us a big menu and things like that. And just reading it made me sick. And I thought, well, bottle of red wine, tick.
That had to be like the best feeling, like kind of wine drunk ever, because you hadn't had something to drink for so long.
Yes, but I ordered. I don't know what I ordered, but I think it was a very light meal anyway. It was I think it was a bit of a seafood dish, but very light. And the guy that was dishing it out in the bus goes, "What about Pam?" I said, "Oh, we just share this," and because we just share our meals, and we don't eat a lot anyway. And no, you got to order something for Pam. So I ordered something for Pam, and because it was about 1 o'clock when we got back, even later. And I got back to but Maddie and Liz, they were ordering dish after dish. I said, "What are you doing?" And they ordered about 8 dishes each. I said, "You're not going to eat." Anyway, I couldn't get my head around it, but anyway, they were hungry and they just seen all this food and they just said, "No, we're going for it." But I didn't. I was quite conservative, and I got back to the room and Pam had a bottle of wine there as well. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Oh, look, I've ordered the dinner." "What dinner?" I said, "Oh, no, look, here it is." So it took me about 24 hours to eat the 2 dishes. And but what was really funny, we walked out of our room the next morning. I said to Pam, I said, "Check this out." And in front of Maddie and Liz's doors, there's just plates and plates and plates stacked up like this.
Yeah, but you probably weren't thrown up that night, and everyone else probably was. Is what was probably happening.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, I went to we got to bed or whatever, and Pam said to me, and this brings me to it. I know I'm jumping from one to the other, but that's what.
No, you're good.
During the course of the game, because we're stripping off all this weight. Okay, as I said, I dropped 9 kilos, and I'm looking at all the other crew, and they're all getting all ripped, and they've got abs, and they're looking really, really good. And I'm going, man, I'm going to have abs for the first time in 25 years. I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, and everything else. And Pam's picking mud out of my ears and everything like that. She goes, "Go and have a shower. Get in there and have a shower." So I walked in. There's a full-length mirror I go, oh, my body, hey, abs. This body of a 100-year-old man with floppy skin and everything down there. And I go, oh no, I've been parading around in Speedos looking like this.
No, I will not take anybody's
man.
shame for you, Gerry. I thought you looked, and I mean this in a nice way. Like you looked great out there for your age. You looked great, my God. I'm still not on the. So
Yeah.
us in the States, we're not really on the Speedo game as much as you guys are out in Australia. But I thought you looked fine.
No, thank you. Yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system. I thought, oh God, I better start covering up now.
Hey, so Gerry, so let's take a little poke at the last challenge, because Liz really kind of said, "Hey, let's just crank it up." When she was saying just crank it up, were you already thinking, "What is she doing?"
Yeah, no, because knowing Liz and Liz is a powerhouse, and being an Olympian, like right from a very, very young age, especially with a dad and then a father, as a coach, really, really hard on her and getting to where she got with the Olympics. You have to be a very, very special type of person to be Olympian. Your head, your body, everything is wired different to a normal sports person. Let's face it. And she had it, and she knew that this was her gold medal chance. And she knew that she had the drive in her. And with me, I crashed and burned after an hour, and which was bitterly disappointing. But this shoulder here, I went in with a niggling rotor cup, bit of a tear, but I've come out and half the biceps torn off there, and the rotor cup and the minuscule at the back. So, and I'm hanging up there like that, and it just killed me, destroyed me. My feet were all right, even though they were cut to bits and I had broken bones. They were fine, but it's my shoulders that gave way, and I just couldn't go anymore. And I felt deflated, and that was it. But watching Liz crank it up further and further, she had it, mate. She had it, and
she knew what she was doing.
The flexibility that young lady has, and the drive and the passion and the power of her psychological, mindset. She was all over it. So I knew what she was doing. She was just pushing the other boys out, and power to her. She's a great, great, great young woman.
Go ahead, Abraham.
I've always said Australian Survivor has too much food compared to U.S. Survivor. It seemed like every award chandlers with food was a good meal. But we know you really don't want to eat chocolate cake after being in Samoa for 3 weeks. You want to let somebody else eat that. But did y'all enjoy the reward challenges?
Sorry, just say that again. I haven't got my hearing.
Oh, did y'all enjoy the reward challenges with the food?
Oh yes, of course. The reward, it was good to get some sort of substance into you, and taste it. Even the raw pizza was great.
Oh, I forgot about the raw. They did you guys dirty there. I don't know what they were. They did that just to get a laugh. Everybody
whinged and bitched about it, and it was frozen. What are you whinging for? It's food. It doesn't matter. It's just have a bite, we had the Kentucky Fried Chicken Challenge that George won and took Shonny and I. That was great, but I don't know whether you could notice it or not, but I never ate a lot of it. Just a little bit to fulfill the thing, and just the taste sensation, and to get a bit of food in my stomach, and the same at the merge feast. I did make myself a little bit sick, but I didn't eat a lot. But I ate all the different types of meats and the fats off them. My body must have been craving fat, because I'm not a big meat eater at all. Where we're mainly raw and green here, and nuts and things, and love our fish and seafood, and probably meat once a 3 weeks to a month or something like that. So I'm not a big fan of meat, and because my body doesn't like it. But at the merge feast, I just stuck with the meat, and I was eating the fat off it, and I thought, oh, I better stop this because this is going to make me sick. So I did. So I just tucked into the beers instead.
Now, Gerry, we have you for a few more minutes here. And before we get to the last couple of questions, one that I was really looking forward to asking you is, we're going to get to the question that we always ask everyone at the end, and that's what you take away from this experience. And we'll get to that here in a couple minutes. But I wanted to ask you, you made, and we've touched on a lot of them here, you've made some incredible connections out there. I mean, between you and Sharni, we saw how much that relationship meant to Sharni because of her relationship with her grandfather. We saw you and George. I feel like you and George could be best friends for the rest of both your guys' lives. And then the one that stood out to me was you and Maddie, because once we saw Maddie make that flip over, you said immediately, I had always liked Maddie. He's a good kid. And we saw that. Was that like a father and son type relationship? Was it just like a best friends relationship? How did that get started? And what type of a relationship was it? Because you guys stuck it out the entire game. You had this plan. We're going to make it to the final two. We found out it was a final three, but you still made it to the end together. And that's something we don't see a lot on Survivor now because everyone likes to jump all over the place. What's that relationship between you and Maddie?
Well, that was from day one. The first day of filming, and it's more a sibling relationship, a big brother, little brother.
Oh, okay.
And Matty, he's just a wonderful young man, and you could see that right from the word go. Right from the word go, he's genuine. He's got good family values. His family, his parents have got really good family value. You can see it. You can see the upbringing in him, and he's only young, but he's kind and compassionate, and he loves his sports and his AFL and all that, and he looked up to the AFL gurus, and unfortunately, they seen that and took him on board as a number, I believe, and I still believe that, and I'm not sorry for saying it neither. I don't apologise, but and I did notice that, and I kept my mouth quiet about that. I Shani you how I felt, and so Matt and I just stayed friends, even though he went with the hierarchy. Because he's there to play the game, and he wanted to get to the end. He wanted to win the money, of course, as we all did. And at the end of the day, it was a game to them all. And so, but after merge, and is when it really hit home with Matty, when the big boys came back from the villains, and they just wrote Matty back in again, and I could see it, and I go, oh, but I had an ace up my sleeve, and because of the pizza challenge, I seen Sam take the scroll out of the pizza box, and I did. I was in Sam's ear, and I said, "Oi, what do you got there?" But they had me that tuned out. They had me that far gone out of their lives. He didn't even hear it. Like, my voice just resonated as a background noise. And I was right in his ear. And that worked to my advantage, because he got Sam got Sean and David, and they ran off like a lot of little school kids down the path with this scroll. And they left Matty sitting there. And Matty was supposed to be one of their team, one of their thick bond of the meat tray. And I knew they were using him. I knew it. And after merge, when they started dragging him in again, I just kept that very quiet until then. And I pulled Matty aside. I said, "Listen, mate, you're getting on pretty good with these guys here again." And I just said to him, do you remember the pizza challenge? And he said, yeah. I said, they didn't tell you about the scroll, about the idol, did they? He said, no,
Mic
what?
drop.
Yeah, it just went drop. I said, mate, they are not your friends. They're not. And that's when Maddie went 100% with George and I. Yeah, bang.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we don't see in the edits that we love to hear about. I know, Abraham, you love hearing like behind the scenes, like what didn't make the edit. And that's the stuff right there. Like, I wish we would have saw that during the time that you had that in your back pocket.
Yeah. And, hey, I've been in business for 34 years and, I've been around the trap a few times and I don't always get it right, mate. But, I'm wise enough to know and I've got enough life experience under my belt to know when to keep my mouth shut and when to open it. So, yeah. But that's it. But, look, life is going on now. If I can give myself a plug, and because we're about finished. And I know that my flying career will be finished in the next 2 years. I love this. I love being in the game. I love social media, and I've been around television a fair bit over the years. And I'm going to try to make this my new career. I've got a manager here, and mate, apparently my age group, there's a void in the talent out there. So come and get me. If you want me over in America, over the States, if you can use me in whatever form, come and grab me. Yeah, I'm here.
I absolutely love it. Abraham, do you have something you want to add before we wrap up here?
To get an opportunity to go out there and just play the game, and no matter what your age is, just to get out there and play and see what it's like to be a part of that environment, then to come back and go through the whole thing all over again with everybody that's looking at the show. We got to ask you, would you do it again?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm going to get surgery on my shoulder next month and all that, and I'm all my training regime, because I'm always doing something. I love being healthy and fit, and I climb mountains. I did a 20-mile bike ride this morning, and I missed out on going for a surf after that because I had to talk to you guys.
Well, now we feel terrible about it.
I can't throw weights around at the moment because my shoulder needs surgery. But I'm preparing my body now. If I'm invited back in a couple of years' time, mate, I'm in, and I'm going to be ready. And I'm going, my body's going to be ready. My mind's going to be ready. Yes, I'll drop the way that I've always lived my life, and I'll befriend people that I really don't want to know. to get to the end game and see what happens. But mate, I'll be into anything. Pam and I were talking. The Amazing Race would be great to do together.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be really fun.
But any age modelling work, that TV work, that's movie work, whatever. We're out there, and we've enjoyed being. Well, I've always enjoyed being in the public eye, anyway, and Pam's had a bit of a taste of that now. As frightening as it has been for her, she has got a kick out of it, and we're willing to move on that journey. And if they want me back in Survivor, I'll go back in. But you will see Gerry.
I love hearing that. Well, Gerry, I just have to say, you said earlier, and this, just to close us out here, you said earlier how you don't like to be referred to as a hero. And I'm in no position to, agree or disagree, even though I think you have earned that title.
Thank you.
If you don't go with the hero route, I want to throw out the word inspiration, because I think not only is it inspiring what you've gone through in your life, how, even with your company, you're like, there's always a light. Like you said, there's always going to be a light. You keep pushing forward. And I think that's how I look at my theater career. You said you had a little theater background. That's how, you always just have to keep moving forward. There's always going to be a new high that you hit at some point. And you're really inspiring with how you live your life, man. And I genuinely mean that.
that'll be the focus of my public speaking going forward in the future as well. Just the resilience of my life experiences over the years. And and what I will say, and I know quickly you got to go, before they cast me onto the show, although my life is fantastic except for financially because of COVID, got a beautiful, beautiful lady, beautiful family. We have a wonderful lifestyle, in fitness at our age. But I was dead inside. I'm going, am I going to live the next 30 years like this? There's nothing else that, I go spearfishing, I do this, I do that. But it's all normal. There's nothing else to excite me. And that's genuinely, that's what I was actually feeling. And when I had the opportunity, they cast me to go and survive, I thought, bang, here it is. Here's the new me, the lift that I needed to get me out of this hole. And man, it's just, here I am talking to you guys.
welcome to the Survivor family. It's an interesting,
Thank you
crazy
very
thing.
much, and I feel much loved from many, many, many people, and I thank you all. Yeah,
Poppy, the man, the myth, the legend.
a legend.
Oh,
I'll just throw it out there. I mean, I know it's King George, but King Gerry. There can be two kings. I don't even care. Gerry, thank you so much for joining us. We have been looking forward to this chat. We were doing exit interviews, but because we had the winner interview, we kind of got robbed of our exit interview with you. But this was even better, man. No restrictions, just getting to know the ins and outs of the game, what's going on in your life. And we seriously cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come join us here. And you always have an open invitation. If you want to come back on the Survivor Now podcast, we would love to have you, man, because you're amazing.
Thank you very, very much, and much appreciated. And thank you for the opportunity to come here and display myself on your platform. It's been great. And you two guys, I've watched you, since I've been in Samoa, and I love every minute of you. And before Samoa, I had to Google what a podcast was.
We started doing it right in time then.
Don't feel bad. I didn't know what a podcast was too, until I got back and Randy called me.
I'm old. Yeah, come on.
But man, thank you so much, Gerry, for those amazing words. And thank you for supporting us as well. If you guys enjoyed our time here with Gerry today, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay in tune with everything that's happening, because we're right now in talks to get Gerry's amazing friend who we talked about on this show, Maddie. We are in talks to get him on here as well. It's just about scheduling. We're currently getting that scheduled right now. So we'll have this same hour-long chat with Maddie. And Gerry, before we do that chat, what should we expect? We need to be prepared for Maddie.
Matt, mate, what you see is what you get. He's a wonderful young man, and he's a delight. You'll love him. You'll love his authenticity. You'll love his generosity. You'll love everything about man. He's just a beautiful, beautiful young man. Comes from a beautiful family. I've met his parents and haven't met the baby yet, but been to the baby shower and his friends and things like that. And everybody around him is super supportive of him, and it goes to character, mate. What you see is what you get, and he's just a beautiful, beautiful young man.
No wonder these two got along. I mean, that's what you see is what you get with Gerry as well. And we love you for it. Well, thank you guys again, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.